What is the one thing that you really need to understand to grow your RTT therapy business or your hypnotherapy business? If you're struggling to get clients, if you're feeling overwhelmed, I'm going to share with you the thing that you really need to understand and that very few people actually get. And this significant mindset shift that I'm going to share with you today is this: that what you need to do if you want to go from that place where you're overwhelmed and you're working really, really hard but not getting clients to getting the right number of the right kind of clients is this. You need to understand that you need to be focused upon intercepting demand and not trying to create demand. Yes, intercepting demand that exists for what you do and not trying to create demand. And when you understand this and when you focus upon this, when you are driven by this, everything is going to change. So what are RTT therapists and hypnotherapists typically getting wrong right now when it comes to their marketing? And the truth is that they are spending a lot of time, a lot of energy on trying to convince people, to educate people that they need hypnotherapy, that they need RTT therapy. And the reality is that this does not work. This is not effective. It is exhausting and it simply does not work. You don't need to educate people about what it is you do, about how hypnosis and hypnotherapy works. You simply need to get yourself in front of people who recognize they have a problem and want to get help, people who you can solve that problem for. You want people who are already looking for help with that particular issue to get yourself in front of them. I call it intercepting demand. It's not demand generation, it's not demand creation, it is intercepting demand. And when you do that, your life is going to get a whole lot easier. Your business is going to grow a whole lot quicker. You'll spend less time, less effort, less energy on trying to get clients by educating them, by convincing them that they need your help. But what does intercepting demand actually mean, and how do you go about doing this? So the reality is this, is that when people want something, when they actively want something, they go looking for it. And of course, a lot of people, most people these days, look online or start looking online. And where do they go? They go to Google or they go to YouTube. Okay? And even in these days of AI, where undoubtedly the whole situation is changing with Google, Google is still incredibly important because it is where people typically go to search. And even AI primarily is still getting its data from Google. Okay? So people search for something when they want it. And when they have a problem, and put yourself in the position of when you've wanted help, when you've wanted therapy, when you want a specific question or issue answering, where do you go? You will go online and you will Google, you will search, because you are looking for an answer. You want something very, very specific. And what do people ask? Well, if you're looking for therapy kind of solutions, if you've got issues about anxiety or pain or fear or a phobia, you Google, you type in something like how to overcome anxiety, therapy for anxiety, how to deal with anxiety, how to overcome phobias. And the statistics bear that out. You get thousands and thousands and tens of thousands and millions of searches for these things. You do not get anywhere near that volume of searches for hypnosis, hypnotherapy, RTT therapy. People are generally looking for help with the problem that they have, not with the modality of approaching it. So you need to understand that you need to be intercepting that question when people are looking for that, because that is your opportunity to get in front of people when they have a real need, when they have a real problem, when they are ready to act, when they are ready to spend money. not creating demand, trying to create demand, not trying to raise awareness, not hoping that somebody's going to stumble over you and what you do with hypnosis or with RTT in their Facebook feed, because they're not actively looking for that. So you need to be intercepting where people are actively looking. Which platforms, which tech platforms, which social media platforms are going to get you the clients by intercepting that demand, and which platforms are not going to get you business because they are not about intercepting demand. And quite simply, the platforms that will get you business, that will intercept demand, are Google and YouTube. And Google and YouTube, you may well already know, are the same organization. So these two things work together. You can rank on both of them, and actually, if you rank well on YouTube, you will rank well on Google. So quite often when you go in and Google for things, and remember, where do people go when they want something? They go to Google. We Google things. Even if you're going and looking on Safari when you're on your iPhone, or when you're on your Mac, if you're using the Safari browser there, it's using Google. It's going into Google. Even if you're going into AI or ChatGPT or other types of AI, it's almost certainly using Google to go and find what it's looking for. So Google really, really matters. And so in terms of being on Google, what does that mean? Well, first of all, you need to rank well on Google My Business, which is basically your Google local search. It's essential that you show up there. Even if you are working online rather than working in person, do not think that means that you don't need Google My Business. That is going to give you immense credibility and what Google call authority to rank more highly in their SEO, in their search functions. So you need to be there doing okay, doing well on Google local search, Google My Business. You need to be having your website well set up with keywords, search words. You need to understand how you can get ranked on those keywords. You need to be having any blogs or anything that you write. Again, you need to be making sure that they are getting keywords that you can rank for, and obviously that are relevant to what you do, for the problems that you work on, the problems that you solve. So you need to be doing that. Now, Google, when you go on and search on Google, you will notice that very often it will show videos, YouTube videos, quite high on the list. Why do they do that? Well, partially because it's part of YouTube, is part of Google, so obviously they want to promote it, but also because, well, two reasons. One is people like video. A lot of people like video, increasingly like video. They find it very, very informative to go to video. And of course, Google likes that because people will typically watch a video for a lot longer than they will watch a post, a short text post, or even some kind of article. So video ranks very highly because people like it, and because frankly Google like it. So you've got to be understanding that those are areas that get people to you very, very quickly, and they get people to you who are looking for the problems that you solve, and you are intercepting that demand. Now, there are other areas that come up on search that people find you can intercept. Stuff comes up on things like Quora, obviously directories. Trade directories are a good source of information. Things like Hypnotherapy directory is really something that you should be on. It's not going to give you anywhere near the volume of work you get from getting well set up with Google or YouTube, but it is going to be useful and effective for you. Okay. There are also things like Pinterest, which is effectively like a photo-based search engine, but obviously it's far less popular and far less well known. Now, some people will say, well, I get work off Instagram, I get work off TikTok, I get work off Facebook. Well, great if you are doing that. But again, just be clear on this, the difference between looking and scrolling that people do. If people are looking, you don't go to Facebook if you want help with overcoming a fear or a phobia. You certainly don't look for that on Instagram. You don't look for that on TikTok, more than likely. Now, there are some nuances to that. So communities and groups in places like Facebook are quite useful. So, if people are in a group about a specific physical issue, a specific subject of interest, people may pick up on things there, get recommendations from there. But it's nowhere near as significant. The volumes are nowhere near as high as they are on Google and YouTube, because it's about the difference between intent and simply stumbling across something where you think, oh, that's interesting or that's relevant. So that is really, really important to understand. And when you understand these things, you will understand where you need to spend your time. And what we do at Help for Hypnotherapists is we help demystify the process of getting clients, demystify the process of converting client conversations into happy, successful clients who are paying you what you're worth. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please do like and subscribe. Please do like the links below. We offer one-to-one support. We offer online courses that teach you all of the steps, a system that will teach you all you need to know about how to get clients, how to convert clients, and how to grow your business without any cheesy selling tactics, without doing anything that doesn't feel comfortable. Simply, it's a system, process, techniques, strategies that work for RTT therapists, for hypnotherapists. I'm Jonathan Butler. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you soon in the next video.